What's up, everybody? It's your man Chuck Creekmurray, aka Jigsaw, and you are here with allhiphop.com. We have none other than one of the funniest brothers that I know, Affion Crockett. What's going on, man?
What up, my brother? Been a minute.
Been a minute. So let's just put this out there real quick. My worst interview in the history of all my interviews. I've been interviewing for a very, very long time, but hands down, the worst one was with you, Marlon Wayans, and Fluffy. That was a traumatic experience for me, bro. I know you remember.
Why was it so traumatic?
Because first of all, Marlon was going hard. Yo, the jokes was relentless, nonstop. And I had never interviewed 3 comedians before, so that was a first. And then Fluffy was just kind of there. I didn't mean to I didn't know enough about him to include him in the conversation. So
in the mayhem.
Huh?
Yeah, to include him in the mayhem.
Yes. And then I had dressed poorly that day. So Marlon jumped right on there, and I don't think that interview saw the light of day. Parts of it did, but and here's the last part, and then we'll get into the interview. He was joking on me, and we joke too. Like, we got jokes, in our private space. We don't bring in our profession. So I wanted to come back with some jokes, because he'd be wearing the Uggs and stuff, and I'm like, but I didn't want to hurt feelings, or I don't know, I don't think y'all feelings get hurt, but you don't want to cross the line or step in some doodle. Then you get tore up for real.
I think you misinterpreted the energy of that interview. Mm-hmm. It wasn't half as bad as you walked away thinking that it was. For one, you just got to know Marlon. Like, that's just him. He's relentless. He goes hard with the jokes. He come from a family of, everybody. They got dark humor. There's nothing that's off limits for them, right? So, but we was having fun. I mean, he was going in, then I would tag the joke, and me and him was just like, and you're right, Fluffy was just kind of there, but me and him was like going like jab, set up, punchline, like, yeah. And I think, maybe you were just because you didn't know us. Yeah. You felt a little out of place, but it just felt like a fun interview to us. It didn't feel like, what I'm saying, like it was a bad interview. But that's literally how every interview is with Marlon. Like, it just goes left, but it's Marlon's left. So everyone's kind of used to it. I guess you just weren't used to it.
Yeah, no, I definitely was deer in headlights. It was fun. I mean, absolutely memorable. You know what I mean? But it was a lesson learned, But I'm a journalist, man, and I bring that to the table. I've lightened up a lot just in general, from being that. But so, it was a great experience though, nonetheless. Well, I just want to say, man, thank you for taking time out of your schedule for all hip hop, and I just want to say, man, I appreciate you, man. You are one of the main folks in this quarantine pandemic environment that's helped us get through a lot. A lot of people. It's almost like Call of Duty. Like, you stepped up to the plate in a time of need, and really provided us with entertainment on our phones or our computers, our devices, and you've been, nonstop. And first of all, I just want to ask you, before we start talking about your comedy special and stuff, just what's your vibe? What's your feeling? How did you? It's almost, you've been in the business for so long. It almost feels like you've stepped out into your own during this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to. Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. This
is just my own.
Yeah. This cut me out so that the focus is all on you. And
No, I was gonna say, it's real easy to get jaded, and to be in the industry for a while. it's easy to get jaded and feel like you've reached every plateau, and then some people start resting on what they did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and they think that that's supposed to carry them through for the duration. But at the end of the day, you have to stay fresh and you have to stay relevant to what's happening right now and be able to jump in that is, you know, that double dutch when them ropes are swinging. Like you know, you used to watch the girls doing on the yard. Like you got to time it and jump in at the right time and then keep your rhythm. So for me, that's how comedy is. Comedy is all about rhythm and timing. And the timing of right now is like, how do you take what's going on right now and make it relevant to be funny today? You know, even during the protests with George Floyd, when all of that hit the fan, and for a while everybody went dark and didn't really say a lot. And then when I started emerging and got out of my feelings about it, I just figured out a way to get back in and make fun of protests, and dudes, you know, walking to the protest with sandals on, with flip flops and their toes out. Like, you know, I don't know. You just got to find a way to keep your career fresh and not rest on anything that happened in the past. Like today is today, yesterday is yesterday. That's my mentality.
Okay. Now, Mirror to Society is a great special. It's funny, and I think the title explains itself, but can you give folks the reason you called it that? It's an obvious nod to Menace to Society, but beyond that.
Well, here's the funny thing, and I gotta credit my boy, another comedian actor, Justin Hires. He when I came back to stand up, he was opening up for me on the road, and so, you know, we kind of iron sharpened iron while we were both refining our you know, getting our feet planted on the stand up stage. Mm-hmm. So I was in an interview, and someone asked me what my style was like, and I said, you know, I'm just kind of like a mirror to society. I just hold up that mirror and show us who we are, and I just do commentary, whether it's on myself or religion, race, gay people, how we treat gay people, how we treat women, like all that kind of stuff, relationships. So I said, I'm a mirror to society. And my man Justin texted me. He said, yo, that should be the name of your special. And I was on the fence. There was another title I had in mind. I was like, yo, I might go with this one. But then I thought about Mirror to Society as a launch pad. I said, nah, that's actually kind of ill. And he said the same thing. He said, yeah, it's kind of like Menace to Society, but it's Mirror to Society. So Justin Hires was the guy that came up with calling it what it is.
Nice. How do you feel it was received from your fans?
The response has been so overwhelming because people know me for parody videos, my, you know, characters, whether it's Haunted House or Soul Man or whatever, or just, you know, my IG, whatever. But when they saw that, they was like, yo, you really nice at this stand-up. You really are in that conversation with the greats. And not that I'm putting myself on that platform, but their reaction to it was, yo, this is a great joint. You know, front to back, it has all the elements, it's animated. You have act outs, you have relevant conversation, you got gems in there. You know, you preach in 1 second, then you just straight clowning the next. It's got impressions, characters, music. It's the whole entertaining package. So the response has been amazing.
Yeah. You had me cracking up. I was like, he did an impersonation of Maya Angelou. Like, I don't think I ever in my life saw that. I was like, who dares impersonate the great poet laureate Maya Angelou?
Yeah, that's yeah. I had to do it. Salute to the queen.
And then they evoke her later in the special too, like gee whiz. I didn't turn off my notification. But but no, it was great, man. I was cracking up, man. And you actually put so much in a relatively short period of time too. You know, as far as the special, it's roughly an hour or so, right?
Yeah, it's an hour, 6 minutes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff crammed in there. Let me ask you, You're obviously well known for impersonating people. Has anyone ever gotten mad?
No, that's a common question, but nah, I haven't come across anyone. For the most part, the people that I've impersonated are fans of the impersonation. You know what I'm saying? So it's actually a big compliment I get is when they approach me, you know what I'm saying, and say, or when people request, like Nas asked me to do him one time. I was like, that's crazy. You the GOAT, you know what I mean? You the God MC.
Right.
But he wanted me to make fun of him. I was like, that's crazy.
Did you?
Yeah, we did it. So first he asked me backstage. I was hosting a show that he was doing in Chicago. And then at the end of the show, the video is actually on my YouTube channel. But at the end of the show, in front of everybody, he says, he's closing out the show, and then he's like, yo, y'all know Affion Crockett, right? He said, yo, man, you do a lot of motherfuckers. Do me, nigga. And then I just go into the voice, and then he runs. He's laughing. But yeah, he's like a fan, and I'm a huge fan of his. So it was like a real big compliment to know that he paid attention to like all the Jay-Z impressions. He was like, yo, when you gonna do my joint?
Right. Yeah, no doubt. So now that you mentioned Jay-Z, that's funny. I just wanted to know, this might be a weird request, but could you do a Jay-Z impersonation real quick and mention all hip hop in it? Because we had Jay-Z mentioned all hip hop on our YouTube like 10 years ago, and we got hacked, right? And then we lost the whole thing, and then we don't have a Jay-Z drop no more. Now you don't have to. I know that could be awkward or weird.
Yeah, I would prefer to let the real Jay do it. Do the drop. he gonna do it better than me. That's for sure.
Got it. The one thing about you that I've noticed. Now you're hilarious. My eyes are watery right now just thinking about some of this stuff. But you're like, I don't get the idea that you to be played with. Like you funny, but yeah, don't play with Affion. And maybe it's good. Huh?
What does that even mean?
Well. You were from our era, for one. You know what I mean? So I know we have all types of sides. And then sometimes see you do some martial arts here and there. You know what I'm saying? There's some layers there behind the man. Can you, I don't want to jump too far ahead into the conversation, but just, it seems like you have different layers that are present that don't always show up in the comedy side.
I'm trying to formulate the question. Are you asking where those layers lie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Outside of comedy, I'm a pretty serious person. Like I'm very cerebral. Like most comedians need comedy to survive. For me, it's just an asset. It's an additional asset. Because I'm also a dancer. I'm a martial artist. I'm an MC. I produce music. I do a little bit of everything. I'm a barber. Like I do everything. So I don't need comedy as like a lifeline, but it's something I love. It's just not. If it went away, I could do other things. But I'm thankful for it. As far as like martial arts, I'm not an expert by any means, but I love it, and I've been practicing it off and on for decades. And I mean, yeah, like you said, I'm not gonna let somebody just run up on me, without at least a strong conversation. I'm definitely not the swing first guy. I'm gonna see what you're talking about first, but yeah, especially when it comes to business and negotiations, I'm not one to be played with. I'm gonna definitely fight for what I want.
Gotcha. What's the difference between being funny on stage, Instagram, and like your TV show?
Instagram is like, you have the opportunity to garner your audience and present a short form video. Most Instagram videos, 2 to 5 minutes. mostly, right? On stage, you're in front of a live audience that you have to entertain for an hour plus, or if you're a feature, you entertain for like 25, 30 minutes. But that's a different ball game.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with people who just spent money to come sit in that room to see you. They worked hard all day. They may have gotten into a fight with their spouse or whatever, right? They may have gotten into a physical fight. They may have got stopped by the cops. You don't know what their day was like, what their mentality is. And you got to grab a microphone and stand in front of them and hold their attention and give them their money's worth for an hour average, right? That's different.
Yeah.
That's real different. And it's like you could be funny for 2 to 5 minutes, but can you stand on stage and captivate people and learn their rhythms? You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes your material is not working and you got to go into, let me just talk to them. Let me see what they mind is, where they at with it. Yeah. And sometimes that could turn the whole show around in the best way when they find out that you can relate to them and be funny on the spot too. Like it's not just a rehearsed bit. As far as TV is, its own rhythm, written, sometimes improvised, but it's a structure. It's way more structured. But when you're on that stage, that's a different animal.
You and Kevin Hart infamously roasted each other, and it was man, I saw that live too, and then I watched it several times after, and I'm looking mainly at Kevin. I'm looking at you too. I'm looking at both y'all, and it's almost like a tug of war. And when you did the mini bite smoke joke, it's like you pulled him over the line, and he just started like crying and like telling his wife and everything. It was like he was like, all right, I got that. What's that environment like? When it's just snapping, it's just impromptu, and it seems like there's no rules whatsoever. There's nothing off limits even.
I mean, that's indicative of just the relationship that he and I have. We've always had it. We've always talked shit to each other. We've always done it. So for me, when we were on live, it just naturally happened. I started it. You know what I mean? He started when he called me. He started, but I can't really explain it, but he and I just have this banter. It's like this big brother, little brother banter, and I'm the older one. But it's just straight shit talk. And sometimes if you don't know us and you see us in the same room and it's a bunch of people around, you'll think we're about to fight. Like people don't know. Like we'll stare each other down when we first see each other. And we've been doing this shit for over 10 years. We've been doing this shit almost 15 years. And it has not gotten old. So that energy is what played into the live and what made it so organic and fun, is because he and I just always do this thing. It's stupid, but it gives us, it makes us laugh. So
when did you first realize you had this gift? I mean, you have many gifts, but this particular one is very special, and it feels like at least it's taken you the furthest in your career, and that you've adopted the most publicly. But when did you were you in high school or class and you're like class clown, entertaining at holidays?
No, when I was in college, I went to HBCU, Fayetteville State University. Okay. And I hung out with the stupidest dudes on campus. I don't know how I got in the mix with them. They were the clowns, though. They sat at the table right next to the cafeteria door. So everybody that walked through the door was getting lit. They just, if you came in with some, some nonsense on, you was gonna get smashed, on some verbal jokes. And it was loud with it too. Like they would beat on the table. Like, how you walking here with all that bullshit on? They would just light you up. And I was the quiet one out the bunch. But the minute I started like saying things, and I would actually do characters, that's where I started doing characters, and they started laughing at that. I was like, oh wow, if I can make these dudes laugh, the ones who annihilate the whole campus, then I might have something. And so really that was my litmus test.
Right. What's your what I hate to keep going back to the impersonations, but I was looking on YouTube and I saw the Drake one. Do you have a favorite?
Nah, honestly, I don't. I just, for me, impersonations are more like a tool that I just use because I know people respond to them, but I don't really like have a favorite joint to do. I just, if I think something is funny and especially if something happens with that person in the media, then that's when I'm like, oh, I could do that. I could do this person, or I recently just did Bernie Sanders on my Instagram during the versus battle with Ashanti and Keisha Cole. I went live with Spice Adams and I was dressed as Bernie Sanders. It was just, I said, you know what? I got the outfit at the crib. I don't know how I have all this stuff at the crib, but I had it. So I did it.
That's actually the one I didn't look at because I saw the screenshot and I was just like, oh, it's two women. So, they got Bernie up there. They probably just going to let this one go. And I didn't realize y'all actually did it. That's crazy.
Yeah, we actually went live while they were still on because they went on for like 6 hours. It was something crazy. But we went on when they did like an intermission, and it was already an hour and a half late to start. So yeah,
on that stuff that night. she apologized, by the way, so she admitted it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Do you feel comedy can ever go too far?
Yeah, it can. Case in point, a year ago when we lost Kobe and Gigi and the other souls that was on the helicopter, there was a couple comedians, a couple white dudes, and they just thought that they were being funny by making harsh jokes about that, and they got their ass handed to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's catch-22 because sometimes, to me, that's not even comedy. So to say that comedy can go too far, I don't know. If it's done with levity and it's done in the right spirit, then it's comedy and it's right? You can talk about almost anything. But I think those guys are doing things, it's more for shock value. They're trying to get attention and they're trying to go against the grain to get likes and shock value, attention, and it essentially is not funny. It's not comedy. It's just, you about to get lit.
One of those guys lost a lot of shows, like all of his shows at that time.
As well he should.
Yeah.
As well he should.
You addressed Trump in the in Mirror to Society as well.
Mm-hmm.
In hindsight, retrospective, I know he's probably on the verge of starting his army or whatever. But what are your thoughts on Trump now, and where we go moving forward as a society?
I don't have thoughts about him at all. I think while he was so-called in office, he just represented so much hatred and division that I'm now glad to see that, we can at least get back to people who resemble human beings being back in office and acting civil and all of that. Now, as far as some of these things that are about to pass and their mandates, I don't know. I still got one eye open on that. But as far as just the civility of it all, I'm glad to see that dude out of here.
Did you, growing up, who did you, if anyone, did you look up to model yourself after anyone? Did you study anyone in particular?
Oh man, Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is the GOAT. And then everyone in the Wayans family, the whole In Living Color cast, everybody, even the women, Kelly Cofield, Kim Wayans, Takia, Crystal Kima, Jim Carrey, Keenan Damon, like everybody. You know, Keenan is a guru. Robert Townsend and his whole regime, Hollywood Shuffle, Partners in Crime series, Martin Lawrence, Def Comedy Jam, like all of that stuff is influence to me. On stage, George Carlin, Chris Rock, you know, and then the Bernie Macs. And, you know, I'm a student of the game. And then, you know, I'm a Bruce Lee fan too. So his philosophies and his approach to life and him being a small dude that was never afraid of anybody and how he overcame obstacles with philosophy and fighting, like amazing. But yeah, I'm a product of a lot of different people.
Yeah, nice. Moving forward just a bit, you are also a really dope MC. Yeah. I was looking at the Sway 5 Fingers of Death again, and I'm like, man, he came with the pain. He brought it, like, for real. How long have you been rapping? Where does that originate from? I mean, we all kind of, huh?
I've been rhyming since I was 12.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you could tell when someone's been rhyming for a minute. But you're from, you know, the South, essentially. When did you move out of Fayetteville?
Watch your head, brother. Military brat. So from the South, but not really because it's a military town. So I'm not from the part of Carolina that is like the South. Military town is, you got the whole world is congregating in this town. So it doesn't feel Southern. As far as the energy, I mean, you know, rurally, like the landscape it's Southern, but you're just influenced by a lot of different people. So grew up in Germany because military kept moving us over to Germany. So 9 years in Germany, where I learned a lot about hip hop over in Germany. And we were getting mixtapes and videos straight from New York from my cousins over there. My first concert was Run DMC and the Beastie Boys in Germany. We saw Michael Jackson in Germany. But yeah, it was a heavy culture in Germany. So my rhyme style and my influence, I would say, you know, is very East Coast, very New York. Because at the time we didn't have North Carolina rappers when I was coming up. That didn't come around until, you know, Lil Brother and you know, we were me, my crew, and my OGs in Carolina. We were the MCs in Carolina that no one knew about. And then, you know, later on we have J. Cole, who was like, he's taken it and put our city on a map as far as anyone can. But yeah, like Lil Brother, Ninth Wonder, and that whole camp, Fonte, Pooh, they're great examples as to what Carolina MCs really sound like. We don't have that that Southern sound for the most part. Some do, but we always just rhymed more with the East Coast influence, like a, you know, Tribe Called Quest-ish vibe. I was a huge EPMD fan, Rakim fan, Nas, of course. So those are my influences as an MC.
Now, one thing I have to ask it. You frequently Instagram yourself in the studio with Dr. Dre. I mean, that's just. I mean, Dre is the goat, you know, the goat of the goats. What are y'all cooking up?
I'm just a fly on the wall, Chuck. I'm learning from the master, and shout out to my dude Focus. Reconnected me and Dre. I met Dre a long time ago, and it was always mutual respect, but Focus reconnected us. And I'm just a fly on the wall, man. All I can tell you is that man is a genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something to witness.
Yeah. You do have a project you're working on though, right? You dropped that single, so are you...
I have a personal project of my own that it's kind of weird, Chuck. Like, I love music, but it's not a priority. Like, I don't visualize myself as an artist and on stage doing shows and all that stuff as an artist. I just haven't visualized that, and until my mind locks in on that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see it. But I do love to do music, and I do love to like put my music in my projects. Like in Mirror to Society, the song I walk out on, the song I exit on, they're both my songs. So, that type of stuff, getting into the placement game of music and jingles and, all that kind of stuff. I've always gotten paid off of music when it comes to my projects. Even in Soul Man with Bernie Mac and Sam Jackson, I wrote and produced the song.
Okay.
Based on some words that they wrote in the script. I just took the words and I just made a whole song out of it, and had the whole crew on set was singing the song before we even shot the scene. I had already done the song. So, I've been able to parlay things. Even in The Wedding Ringer with Kevin and Josh Gad, did that movie. I'm on the soundtrack doing a remake of Biggie's Party and Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So my emceeing always makes its way in appropriately, that in a way that's comfortable for me.
Right. My man Jay Pharoah is a friend of mine, and we've hung out numerous times, and he moved to he moved to LA after he left Saturday Night Live, so I haven't seen him in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still rap. He can definitely bar it up. But
he's heavy, dope MC.
Yeah, I've seen him live at SOBs and everything. Mm-hmm. But I always got the sense that there's a stigma attached, almost like a limitation people put on folks when they try to stretch out into another industry or whatever, profession even. Have you ever felt that?
I don't think so. I mean, I know what you're talking about. It was there for a while, but I mean, we have people like Childish Gambino and Jamie Foxx to thank for the acceptance of just being able to do whatever you want to do. For me, it's about my focus. If I really wanted to do it and put my energy there, no one's going to stop me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody. So I just happen to not really focus on it. And I don't want to speak for Pharoah, but I think the same for him. Like, he's so successful as an actor, as a comedian. He just hasn't put the energy into the music to make it a widespread thing. But I guarantee you, if he did, he's going to kill it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I got to ask you, I hope this doesn't throw you off guard, but who are your top 5 dead or alive rappers?
MCs?
Mm-hmm.
I always start with my top 2, and then the rest is just like honorable mentions, right? Rakim and Nas are my top 2, and I know that Rakim is Nas's favorite rapper, so that's a given. And I go, my criteria is lyricist, right? Because I know people have so many different categories and I've never heard 2 people with the same top 5, but mine are guys that made me have to rewind the joint. Like, what did this dude just say? Big Pun.
Okay. Yeah.
Cannabis.
Yeah. Okay.
Eminem.
Okay.
I mean, that's 5 already, but again, I there's no particular order.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Pharoah Monch.
Mm-hmm.
G-Rap.
Yeah.
Common, Talib, Mos, Helter Skelter, Ruck and Rock.
Right.
So those are guys that like
a lot of the credit, but Rock can spit.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Them boys was a problem on that mic.
Yeah.
A real problem. So yeah, I mean, of course, and then Jay, B.I. I mean, so many people. Redman, Method Man.
Right.
It's so many lethal dudes.
Now, I mean, in your special, you talk about not knowing them, and I try not to curse, but the name of young rappers nowadays, and you know what I mean.
That's a real thing, though. I hear a new one every day. I'm like, who is this?
Right.
But that's not a knock on them. It just means I'm out of touch. I'm getting older. But I mean, I'm a huge Drake fan. I think Drake don't get the credit that he deserves for, because there's always this talk about he didn't write his raps, or what did he or did he not? But it's like, but he writes for other people. So how does he not write bars? And what MC does not have someone in his camp like suggesting a line here and there? I don't know any MC that hasn't had that happen. You know what I'm saying? Or is influenced by a movie line, and they'll make a reference to something, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, all that being said, I think
the reality is some of our favorite rappers had people writing for them, or on occasion, or influencing them, or even collaborating, which is, MCing.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, MCing is the only place where you have to have, supposedly have to write every line of every word of every song for it to be legit. So I actually feel you, man. And Drake's consistency is pretty high.
Here's the thing. Let me ask you this, Chuck. Mm-hmm. This is a real question.
Okay.
What other rapper can sing over any genre of music, put out any genre, whether it's reggaeton, soca, house, straight boom bap, on some Dilla shit, on some Premier, on some trap, could rock with Future, and could rock with J. Cole, and could rock with Miguel, and could rock with Trey Songz? What other rapper? And got the female appeal.
Yeah.
Could do an R&B record with Lloyd and then turn around and bar you up with Jay-Z. What other rapper in the history of rap has been that versatile ever? Who? Name one.
Maybe Jay-Z. Maybe.
Jay cannot do an R&B record. Jay can't sing. He's not going to do that.
Sure.
And it's not going to feel right on Jay, because he's not that guy. Jay is incredible.
Yeah.
He's got the catalog. He's the GOAT. Right. I mean, we know that. Like, it goes without saying. But what I'm talking about is the versatility of Drake.
Right.
Like even LL has a lot of range, but we ain't never really heard L on a reggaeton or joint and it felt right. Or he wasn't singing on I Need Love. He was just rapping softer than Mama Said Knock You Out, right? I'm just saying, I think Drake don't get enough credit for how versatile and consistent he really is. He's a problem.
Well, we don't want to talk about it, but Drake's not from the United States. He's not from New York. And so a lot of times folks will, give people a little more leeway when they're from an area they're more familiar with, or they have advocates locally who will, massage the press or whatever. You know what I mean? I know, trust me, on our side of things, when something leaks or when something's not right, those people are on it. The handlers, you know what I mean? So Drake obviously has his handlers, but I don't get the impression that he has a lot of friends here, you know what I mean, on the industry side. So, but I agree with you though, man. Drake's really dope. My homeboy Jared, he's gonna call me a hypocrite because we've had endless debates about Drake and when he was beefing with Meek and all types of stuff. But no, he's a phenomenal artist. There's no question.
That's my point. I just think he's a phenomenal artist. He gets the envy. The envy monster is heavy on him.
I interviewed Drake once and I asked him his top 5 dead or alive. And he said Leonardo DiCaprio. And I said, look, man, I'm just gonna let you know this is all hip hop. It's gonna really, people are gonna have a response for you. He was like, I don't care. Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like, all right, cool. But that just goes to show, he has a lot of confidence. He's in a different space, like just about everything.
You can't take none from him.
Yeah, no,
he's made the bread. He's made other stars.
Yeah. At this point, he's hooking Lil Wayne up. It's crazy because Lil Wayne, he's still dope, but kind of like he's reaching back and bringing him back a little bit.
Yeah, it's a family affair.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you speak on Hollywood a lot, and one thing about you is that you are not from LA, you are not from New York, but you've managed to thrive. Myself and my business partner Greg, we're from Delaware originally, so we had to hustle in a different way. Do you have any inspiring words for folks that are trying to get in this game? A lot of them are now on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, making a space for themselves. What would you advise them on how to overcome maybe geographic barriers or mental blocks or whatever the case may be?
I say if you have the opportunity to move to a different place, to New York or LA, you should do it. If not, you got to go extra hard on social media and online. Because how else are people going to see you, right? Have original material, study the greats, study. After you study, you have to actually do the work, and whatever that is, whatever your skill set is, you have to sharpen that iron constantly, because you're going to be thrown into the fire, where you're going to have to show and prove that you can really do this thing that you say you can do. Study the greats, keep studying. And after you study the greats again, keep studying, but don't be afraid to take what they lay down and create your own out of that. And then tune out all of the criticism, tune out all the comments. I know that after this interview, people going to go crazy over what I said about Drake. I don't give a fuck. I said what I said. Don't worry about comments. Comments are just words from a lot of angry people. Don't let that derail your art, is what I'm saying. People gonna say whatever. They're gonna say whatever about anything. They just want something to say. That's what Clubhouse is about. Clubhouse is about people that just want something to say. Do not worry about what people say. Just do what you do. Do it at your pace, but never stop working. Never stop doing the work.
Nice. You give Nick Cannon a lot of credit. By the way, Nick Cannon I've written about it. You can Google it. I give him all the flowers I can while he's here, and I defend him to people a lot of times who might call him corny or whatever the case may be. What do you think about what happened with him and the whole controversy around some of the things he said in Cannon's class interview?
I can't really speak on that.
Okay.
I don't know about the whole, the context of what he said, but as a person, he's one of the most talented people I've ever been around, and he's a businessman. He's a brilliant mind. Yeah, he's a little bro. You know what I'm saying? He's fam.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a random Hollywood question. You don't have to answer this, but I always get the impression, and the reason I'm asking you this is because it came up in the sidebar of one of the YouTube things I was looking at. Have you ever been approached to wear a dress in a role?
Nah.
Nah. Okay. You've been in the game for a long time, and you share a lot of those early clips, and it really amazes me all that you've accomplished in your career. It's pretty phenomenal. Everything from the roles you've played, but also the dancing and being on the Apollo and all of these things. like when did you feel like you made it, or do you feel like you made it because you're still going really hard?
No, I don't feel like I made it. I feel like I have a foundation that most people respect, but I just have personal goals. You know, I'm sure I'm where I am. There's some people that have prayed to be where I am, and that's dope. I'm forever grateful, but I feel like I'm just a kid in a candy store, and I'm just starting. I'm at the front door, and I'm just going down the aisle, and I'm sampling things, and I'm just having fun. But I think that's the key to the game, is just have fun. Like, we take ourselves way too seriously, especially in hip hop. Like, how is everybody tough? How is everybody just tough all the time? I don't get that shit. That shit is corny to me. It's toxic.
Yeah.
It's very toxic. So for me, that's why. Yeah, I've been here for a while, man. I've been here for a while doing this thing, but I keep reinventing and re-emerging and doing different things because I'm not afraid to try new things. Like, who wants to stay doing the same exact thing for forever? Like, who does that? It's not for me. I'm going to always challenge myself to just be better and do better. And, you know, I got that LeBron James mentality. Like, I'm just keep my body right, keep my focus right, stay investing in my health and in my ability to do what I do, and just keep pacing and still looking like these young dudes, even though I'm not their age.
I love one thing you said in Mirror to Society about toxic people. And I think that's something I had to learn too. You know, I have a super small circle now. I can't even deal with it actually at this point. And even folks that are, I actually do have a friend who I deal with, very toxic person, but I also feel like I'm keeping them alive. I feel like well, let me not get too detailed, but they have, you know, I think I probably said too much already, but they have
you told all the business.
Yeah, but you know, I think the toxicity has had them lose a lot of friends, and I almost feel like I'm gonna deal with it, because if I go somewhere, they gonna like be found dead or something like that. So aside from that person, yeah, I appreciate those words, because I think it's a common thread for a lot of us who aren't even able to deal with it anymore. You know, you can't even have it in your body, so it's so negative. Yeah.
I don't deal with toxicity at all.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah, not at all. And it messes your body up inside anyway. You know, like physically.
Yeah.
Like your actual...
No, stress is a real thing. Toxicity, stress, negativity, that shit will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
You mentioned goals. You're still rising as a star, man, as a rocket. I like to think of us as rockets going to the firmament. But either way, you mentioned goals. Seeing you in a lot of roles, but I don't think we've gotten that sort of starring role. What's on the horizon? What can we? You don't got to get the, but what's, you know?
It's coming. I can't even tell you what's coming, but it's coming. Because you're right. Like, I've done a lot of great cameos and all that stuff, but it's the next chapter is it's on its way. But again, it gives me something to reach for. You know, I never get bored and jaded. That's the key. Like, don't get jaded in this joint. But yeah, I'm working on stuff now. I'm developing some stuff. The stand-up special was definitely a launching pad and a great calling card for people to watch, and to see that I have leading man ability and executive producer ability, because we did that ourselves. You know, me and my partner Del Mar, I put the money up. He came and directed it, got the crew. And so what you see is what we did. And then we went and got distribution through Kevin, LOL. So I'm very proud to say that it's Black owned, and you know, we here with it.
Black owned and won't sell out.
Not gonna do that.
That's what's up. Mr. Affion Crockett, man. I appreciate you, my brother. Salute.
Nah, appreciate you. I know we've been going back and forth trying to find when we was going to do this. I told you I got you. And so thank you for your persistence.
Definitely.
Appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate the persistence making this happen.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Best wishes, man. I hope to talk to you again. And
don't chop this up into clickbait either.
Hey man, yo, let me hold up. We not gonna do that. You know we don't do that. But yo, the attention span is crazy, man. You know, we look at all the analytics of every interview, and these hour-long interviews, people tap out after a certain point. I ain't want to make this a too funny or like try to be too like whatever with it. So we are going to run this full interview immediately, and then after.
All I'm asking is don't do the typical, chop it up into sections and then make a really sensational title.
Man, come on, man. You already know. You already know how we do, man. You know that's why we ain't rich. You know what I'm saying? If we was doing that, we would. I had somebody else doing this interview.
That's funny. Nah, I hear you, man. But I appreciate you, man. Salute.
Yeah, respect, man.
Rocking. My
guy.
Man,
I support, bro, all the time. Anytime you need something, just let me know.
For sure. Likewise.
All right. Peace.
All right, G.